What is going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler, and in today's video we are going to be going back in time to the North vs. South Utah RC Crawling Championship North Round 2 in Wendover, Utah. This was a really fun event, and I have never been out to the rocks out at Wendover, so not only am I on new terrain, but we also got a taste for the rocks out here, which are super fun, very technical, very jagged, and crazy high traction. Even playing around off course, I was able to pull off some really wild lines and just crazy steep climbs that the rocks just allow you to drive up. So my buddy Luke with Scumbag RC on Instagram and Zach with Utah County Crawler on Instagram, they went out and set all these courses. So I showed up to these essentially blind and just, showed up and participated in the event as anyone else would. So let's talk about Class 3. Class 3 is a less restricted version of RC competition crawling. So we allow larger tires in our Class 3. We also allow rear steer and dig. We do not follow Sorco rules. As you can kind of see here, we're not that interested in scale points or having to tech everybody in. We just follow some loose guidelines of, hey, in Class 2, you have to have a maximum tire height of 4.75. You have to have a transmission and motor mounted in the center of the car with full-time four-wheel drive, things like that. In Class 3, again, you're allowed to, try some other things like having a dig unit where you're able to disengage the rear tires and spin your front tires only. We also have an unlimited class, which is essentially for the local MOA guys, where you can run anything you want. You could run your Class 2 or Class 3 in unlimited, but you're going to be going against those guys with the really high performance Sportsman or MOA cars. These runs are Class 3, so this is really the kind of car that I love to go out and run if I'm just going out to have fun. Out here where I'm at in southern Utah, lots of technical rock crawling where having a rear steer is a huge benefit to be able to wiggle your way through, V-notch canyons and rock piles and stuff. As you can see here, really trying to use the advantage of rear steer, being able to break traction while on a rock face to help me slide back down the hill so I can save myself a reverse. My tires never traveled in reverse. I was just able to shimmy the car back downhill using all four-wheel steer, which is a big advantage if you have that availability. So if you guys are on a hill, a lot of people get on a side hill and shift their front end down if needed with their front steering, but don't forget you have rear steer on cars like these, and it really works well to shimmy the rear steer in addition to the front steering. Unfortunately, right here, taking a little tumble and trying to upright myself just using throttle and trying to manipulate my tires to get traction. Unfortunately, I hear a really ugly snap sound while I'm upside down and fighting, and I realize I don't want to break the car on course. I want to be able to finish the course. Watching the competitors ahead of me, I realized that time is very important on this particular course. We are running 10 gates plus 2 bonuses. The bonuses are optional, but if you want to be competitive, it's best to try and get those bonuses done if you can. So in our events, a DNF, every gate that you DNF is 15 points, whereas if you hit a gate, it's only 10 points. So that way there's an advantage to the people who actually finish courses. Even if they were to hit a couple gates on the way to finishing them, they should be ahead of the guys who DNF'd and didn't get to the finish line, right? I think that that's a fair scoring system, and that's how we run it. Some other things to know about our North vs. South series: if you hit a gate, both cones are dead. So if I were to hit that arrow right there, I wouldn't have to worry about hitting gate number 8. It's no additional points. Now, more serious competitions, both gates are live and both gates are 10 points, so you got to be very careful. In our series, we try and make it as inviting as possible, and so far I think it's worked out to our advantage. We have good turnouts where new drivers are coming out to try out the courses and just show up and see how things go, have some fun out there on the rocks. That's what it's really about. Oh, looky there, we got a guest appearance by our friend Alec from Amain Hobbies. He's in the tan pants and the big sun hat there. Alec has been doing awesome event coverage at every event we've been to across multiple classes and multiple drivers. So thank you very much, Alec at Amain Hobbies. Really appreciate all you're doing to help support and promote the events. So be sure to get over and subscribe to his YouTube channel, another RC crawling YouTube channel where he covers RC crawling competitions as well as trail rides and lots of fun stuff. So absolutely get over there, get subscribed. I want to say that it's mandatory that you do that if you follow me, or at least check out his video, see if you like his style. So here we are finally working our way up to gate 10. We are low on time as, let's see, 5 minutes, 20 seconds from the beginning of the video. So I've got around 30 seconds to get through this gate. And it doesn't sound like a lot of time, but you have to also remember 30 seconds for one gate is a lot of time. So don't panic, don't worry, just try and get through. And had a pretty good run there overall, except for that upright. It was clean. I don't think I had any backups that I noticed, and I don't think I hit any gates that I noticed. So going into course 2, now I have this added pressure for myself that I put on myself that is like, okay, I did well. Now I have a real potential to finish well if I can pull off course number 2 clean, which adds pressure. Now it depends on the type of driver who you are if that's going to help or hurt your performance. Typically, I don't do the best under pressure. I can handle some, but I usually get a little excited and then I'll end up making a split-second decision that I regret later. Now, any good driver, even the first place finisher guys, if you go talk to them, I guarantee you they will have regrets of choices that were made on course that they just feel they could have done better. Speaking of, here we are getting into a very nasty bonus gate. But I know that I have a shot at, finishing pretty well. And I know that if you want to be real competitive, you got to go for the bonuses to get those negative points on course. So this one's really ugly, lots of overhangs, and that driver's side, you end up getting very sideways in there, and that leans the top of your tire towards the cone. Now right here, I make a very important decision of, I'm not going to drive forward and hit the gate. I'm going to reverse and try and reset myself so that I can clear this gate. So it gave me a reverse, but a bonus gate in our series is negative 10 points. So if you can squeeze by without touching it, just like that, you can get yourself negative 10 points. So with a positive 1 point for a reverse, absolutely worth getting those extra negative 9. Now right there, getting real spicy coming out of that gate. I didn't want to end up on the belly and have the car slide sideways on the way down and have that rear tire fall down and clip that cone. Working our way into gate number 4. Originally, you were supposed to be able to like crawl up from the bottom, which is all dirt, and there's just no traction there, as well as it's a pretty big ledge. So I decided to use the advantage of my rear steer and come through and wrap around that cone. My car has pretty high overdrive, somewhere in the 25 to 30% range, and now I'm ended up bellied out on my skid plate. So I've got to trust that my tires will hold me up, and I've almost done a full 360 around that number 4 cone. And I'm just using my rear steer to help my car crab across, sliding the belly along, getting a little more aggressive on the throttle, and look at that. I went in, I did a full U-turn around that 4, completely clean, didn't touch it. Headed up gate number 5, which was not too bad. Right there, I could see that I was going to cut straight down to gate number 6, and then I decided to crab uphill a little bit before driving straight down number 6. This is where experience really pays off in class 3 driving, is knowing how to shift and manipulate your car with your rear steer. So there's times where you want to shift the entire car left or right with a crab walk versus wrapping it all the way up like that. So I used a combination right there, right? I went in and I used all 4 wheels opposite to get the car rotated, and then I crabbed my car over once I had the angle I wanted, and then just lined myself up with that gate number 8. So, get out there and play with your cars. It's very important overall to, higher performance and better finishes. At this event, I was fortunate enough to make 2 good clean runs and ended up going home with the first place trophy on this run. Right here, I think I break this rock and it starts to move. That's how bad of a bind the car is in, but my car is mostly metal drivetrain, just scooping around that number 9 cone, getting lucky. This was a fun bonus gate. It's basically, if you can crawl up a curb, you can crawl this obstacle. So play on weird obstacles and get a feel for how they work. And then I also hung that front weight off that ledge to help counteract that left rear coming up the wall. So again, lots of practice goes into knowing how your car will handle certain things and getting your vehicle up and over certain obstacles. I was able to get out of there with a first place finish. I had a great time at the event. Thanks so much, Luke, for putting on the event. I greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all the other Class 3 drivers that I went up against. You guys do not make it easy to try and go out and win in that class. Really fun, super competitive. I like my Chupacapra a lot. I drive it a lot, and that's a key for getting out there and having good results on course. My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. I have affiliate links down below. I have my own website. If you guys have an Axial Capra, be sure to check out my website. I've got some products in there like a micro winch mount. Occasionally I'll have some cut and shut tires available. You'll have to follow me on Instagram at West Desert Wheeler if you want to see updates on when those tires are available and when they're not. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.